All right, so let's talk about your niche. And when it comes to stock photography, a niche is very less important than it would be in any kind of brand or commercial or any kind of website or anything like that. But I do like to approach stock photography from a niche perspective because it's a good place to start. It helps orient you. And when you say, okay, next week I want to go out and take some pictures, it's a good starting place of what do I want to take pictures of. And so when it comes to a niche, I really think there's two different important approaches. One is a network approach, and one is a geographic location approach. And so what I mean by network is, and again, we're really approaching everything here from supply and demand. And so do I know a person who has access to a person, a place, do I know someone who has access to something that most people don't? And so it's important to go through your contact list and think of who are these people that, know important people or have access to important places that there will be, again, editorial, newsworthy content of. And, hit them up and see if they'd be able to allow you access into those places. On top of a network approach, geographic location is also really important. Because, are you going to be traveling around the US taking stock photos and video? I've done 2 or 3 trips where I did that, but most of my stock photography, I live here in Austin, Texas, most of my stock photography is going to be within a 2 or 3 hour radius of Austin. And so I have to rack my brain and think, okay, what do I know of that is going to be, newsworthy, evergreen editorial content within this, couple 100-mile radius. And another good way of finding a niche is just by looking at the different categories that these stock photography sites kind of limit you to. So if you're curious what you want your niche to be, any of these categories are good options. Animals, wildlife, arts, background textures, building landmarks, business finance, education, food and drink, healthcare medical, holidays, industrial, nature, objects, people, religion, science, signs and symbols, sports and rec, technology, and transportation. So with an editorial approach, I'm trying to combine editorial content with any of these niche categories is definitely a good place to start off. One thing to also note with geographic location stuff, and this is just kind of a side note, if you do get to the level where you are making $500 a month in stock photography, you are able to write off trips if you're getting income from that trip. And so that's one of the beautiful things about stock photography is if I want to go to Hawaii and take pictures of stuff that I think would sell in Hawaii, then suddenly I'm writing off a plane ticket, I'm writing off hotel expenses. And so having this side business really opens up the world of travel, which is a huge benefit of stock photography. That's just kind of a side note. That's one thing I really like. But again, those are your options when you think of your niche. So, sit there and go through your contact list, go through where you live and try and figure out what a good niche for you would be.